listening discretion is advised. There will be swearing, inappropriate adult humor, and probably some graphic medical procedures. Listen at your own risk.
From day one, you fought for your life, and you blew everyone away.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We are changing the chances. I did it backwards again to throw you off.
You sure about that? Yeah. Gosh, we need a camera in here.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
the look on your face.
It just happened.
Like in the middle of saying it, you could tell you caught yourself.
Here we are. I'm Alisha.
I'm Jesse.
And we are.
Changing the chances.
In case you didn't catch it the first time around when I slurred all my words and screwed it
It's
up.
okay. She's only 2 beers in.
Oh my gosh. It wasn't anything to do with that. I just get excited and I forget to introduce us first. I just want to introduce who we are. Makes me excited.
Well, I feel like our awesome, amazing fan base knows who we are.
I mean, the people who are avid listeners, which I thank you very much for. I appreciate our avid listeners.
We love you.
I love all the new listeners also. Just in case you're new.
Yes.
Hello,
New
welcome,
listeners.
love it,
Yep.
amazing. Hope we don't scare you off. We are a little...
There is
Much
no pond.
sometimes?
I'm like, there is no pond. We have no ducks. There is no row.
I like to think that I have ducks.
We have that goofy little dog that used to run out in the Nintendo game and grab the duck and pick it up and be like, oh yeah,
Duck hunt?
Duck hunt. Yeah,
Oh, he goes and hunts down the
yeah.
ducks.
He goes and gets your ducks. And when you'd miss, he'd laugh at you.
Yeah, he did. That feels accurate. It feels so accurate right now. Anyways.
We thought we would cover hospital stays and what we've learned in our journeys,
Oh my gosh.
our many journeys to the hospital.
Yes.
And our many stays at the hospital.
I am fully aware that we have not had as many as some people.
No.
I will throw that out there
Yeah, no,
first.
my heart goes out to a lot of families because there's families that practically live at children's hospitals, and it just breaks my heart.
I mean, but we do anticipate a hospital stay pretty much every year because we've had one every year since Piper's been born. So
Every year since, yep, every year.
Yeah.
I mean, she's had birthdays in the hospital. She's had Christmases. She's had Valentine's Days. She's had 4th of July's.
Man.
I mean, she's had quite a few holidays.
Yeah.
Stays up at the hospital. Like, no joke.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep. And it sucks. And unfortunately, there's a lot of children, and not just children, people in general that have to deal with that.
For
and
sure.
It sucks being stuck in the hospital and away from your family.
That's the
dealing with
worst.
something that is obviously horrendous.
I had a
like you're dealing with something that's putting you in the hospital and taking you away from your family.
This is completely off the subject of anything, but you were just mentioning people in general and families and all that stuff, and short little side street.
Left field.
I did have a cousin who was in the hospital in 2020. She was getting a kidney transplant, and that was like the saddest. Just because
she really couldn't even have visitors,
it was in the midst of 2020. So she's all alone. This kidney transplant did not go well. It was a whole situation. She's by herself.
Yeah.
The nurse is like, you look so sad every day. It's like, gee, I wonder why, because I can't do anything and I have to rely on complete strangers and I can't see my family. It was horrendous.
It did. It sucked.
So I feel for anybody who has anybody in the hospital and any level, because it's awful. And,
even when Piper had stays during the midst of COVID, and it was like, well, it's a 24-hour turnaround. Well, if you come in.
Before the 24-hour turnaround.
Oh, I couldn't even go.
You couldn't go.
That was it.
I was confined to my room until all of our COVID tests came back negative. I couldn't even leave to get food. Like nothing. It just...
That really sucked.
It was hard.
Yeah, she had a couple stays where it was
so hard.
I thought it sucked on my end. I can only imagine you being up at the hospital because I was home and I had to go to work and then come home to an empty house and all that. But you were stuck up at the hospital with P.
Yeah, It was an experience that we do not wish.
Not anything we would wish on anyone.
No.
Like,
No. Terrible.
You want to
Terrible,
mentally
terrible.
crack somebody?
Right?
Do that.
Yes. It is definitely right up there. But yeah, anyways, we're just going to talk about hospital stays, how we've changed, grown, learned things that maybe we think may or may not be helpful for somebody who has to stay in the hospital with a loved one of any kind, really. I don't know that it really matters
or
if
even,
they're a child or
someone
not.
that has a new child that they're maybe just bringing home that possibly has some complications that might be starting a journey similar to ours that we didn't have any idea. I mean, there was many a times where it was like,
do any of us really know?
She's not breathing and we're in our PJs, like, get in the car, let's go. It's,
You learn
but
quickly.
I mean,
you learn quickly.
because it's a very rare occasion that we go to the hospital, that Piper goes to the hospital on a planned visit.
Yeah.
Like
most of
her
I think,
therapies and like her checkups.
No. I'm talking like hospital stays. And I think planned, I can
probably
pick
one hand.
One. No, I can only think of one currently that was actually like, we went to the hospital because this was happening and we had to stay for so much time. And that was her G-tube placement. That was planned out. We knew when it was going to happen. We knew we had to stay.
I think her second orbital cellulitis surgery that we took her back into because the first one didn't get rid of it. Like,
yeah, but we were already in the hospital.
No,
we
I
were
guess
already
I guess
admitted.
that's true. We were already there in the midst of it. So
Yeah. And that also wasn't planned because it was also last minute. And they did it
Yeah.
after their very last surgery of the day. They just fit her in. So yeah, that still wasn't like
Yeah, I
planned.
guess you're right.
Yeah, I can't think of any. That's it. Only G-tube is the only planned one I can think of. Which I'm not mad. I don't want to like plan a bunch of surgeries for her, but it's also
Yeah,
not
'cause,
great
like,
when you have lots
her
of
eye
unexpected
surgeries
hospital
weren't
visits.
planned. Like they pretty much just came and told us, like, okay, well, we can either do this now or she can just go blind.
Well, yeah, but again, she was also already
She was
inpatient.
already in the she was already
because she was in the
inpatient.
NICU. So yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think about. In 8 years, we've had lots of hospital stays, and one of them has been accounted for planned. Like,
Hey,
that's not.
you got to go and do this.
It's not exciting. It's not exciting. So, we've tried several things to try and plan for that. I did like pack an overnight bag and keep it by the door, but we never grabbed it because we never
When
knew
your
it was.
child's not breathing and
just don't
you're
think
just
about
trying, nope, you're not thinking about anything except getting to the hospital,
Yes.
getting her to breathe, getting
Which
oxygen
I know
into them.
people are thinking like, well, you should just keep it in your car. You are correct, but we never know which car we're going to take. So now we have, I won't say we have two of them. I did pack one specifically I keep in the car, which is not our main mode of transportation for her. And then I have stuff already in my van, which is our main mode of transportation, just because it is our main mode of transportation for her. And I know that I'm always going to forget something and run out of something. So I just keep stuff in there constantly. Change clothes for me, change clothes for her, just everything. Because, life. Because of life. So now I do have a bag also at home that has like toiletries in it and like, what is it? Like crossword puzzles and stuff.
Just stuff to keep you entertained.
Keep me
You've got like
So
a
if you
little
have-
medicine bag that, you have Excedrin.
Yeah. So if you have
hay
time
fever
to come
pills
home
and
and like
stuff.
pack me a bag, you can just throw that stuff in a bag and pack clothes for me.
Well, I always make time to do that for you.
I know. So also, why do we have an overnight bag? You always just pack me something anyway. So,
Well,
such is
and
life.
if you've, very rarely have I not been here to help with that situation, which
Well, I think you've always,
like when she's had like a big seizure and
Yeah,
like,
I
I've
mean-
been home.
I think I took her to the hospital this year, actually. In January, I think I ended up taking her. You're at work. And I was going to take her to see the pediatrician, and she just
I remember now.
tanked because she's
Yep.
Piper, and that's what she does.
You were gonna take her to the pediatrician, and you're like, nope, I changed my mind. I just brought her up to primaries.
Yeah, and we ended up staying the night, and you weren't there for that. And I called you, but I told you, I was like, it's totally fine. I got it handled. Like,
Yeah.
we'll just.
I was ready to bolt.
He really was. He was like, okay, I'm on my way. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm already in the car. We're already on our way. Like, I have it under control. Like, it wasn't, I don't consider it life or death, but definitely things weren't good.
Yeah, things were not looking well.
They definitely rush her back because it's not optimal. But yeah, it's just, it's part of our life. You just learn to live with it, which I don't know is good or bad, or if it's just what it is.
We've adapted, her room. We have a camera monitor system still, like a baby camera monitor system still, to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, which we actually use in other parts of the house too.
Yep.
We
do.
She doesn't have to have eyes on her 24/7, but if
she can make some odd noises sometimes that almost sound like she might be choking on vomit, and it's just her, maybe,
which is very real for her.
It is.
Very
She starts making a new sound, and all of a sudden it's like a kid that just figured out how to whistle. She just keeps doing it.
I know.
So all of a sudden it's like, what's this new weird sound? Is she gagging? Is she choking?
Yeah. But I mean, we are lucky. She doesn't need eyes on her 24/7. But if she's obviously maybe not feeling well, or if I know I'm going to be out of the room for longer than 3 minutes, I always try and take a camera with me, just because you just never know with her.
You never know. Like
she does have seizures, and you just never know when. You just don't know. You just don't know.
We've also spoken. She has monitors. She has a monitor now too, an oxygen monitor,
and
a heart
pulse
monitor,
ox, yeah,
a pulse ox,
which she wears at night.
She wears at night so that if for whatever reason she dips down, and it helps us stay on top of that, because her activity generates at the wee hours of the morning or super
seizure
late.
activity is generally late
super
at night,
late or wee hours in the morning.
Yeah, or very early in the morning. That tends to be her trigger.
So that's a nice thing to have.
Which is good and bad. It's nice to know that that's when it's gonna, when it's terrible, but it's also terrible because it's the middle of the night. I don't.
Well, no, because it at least lets us have a better idea. I'll be here, you'll be here.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be at work. It's not a norm for her to have one that big in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's nice because we know when the time frame usually is.
What her
but
so
it
to
is
speak trigger is.
Terrible that it's in the middle of the night. Really?
Oh yeah, when
it has to be
in
the middle of the night.
A dead sleep to a child not breathing, and it's just
terrible. Nobody wants
sucks.
that. Yeah. So if we do end up in the hospital, we do have a system now. Jesse usually is the call maker. I think we've mentioned that before.
Yeah. I usually start making the rounds after she has been at least stabilized.
Yes.
At least stabilized. And then I start focusing on, because if I already know as soon as everything goes sideways, that we are going up to the children's hospital. Right now, we're just going across the street so that we can get her emergency help.
Well, yeah, if it's an emergency, we drive across the street because we will do that way faster than an ambulance will get to us.
Yeah, seriously. And then, once she gets stabilized and everything, they start talking about doing the transfer up to the children's hospital. Then it's okay, well, you do the transfer with her. I come home. I start packing up and loading up and everything and meet you guys up at the hospital.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
And usually just before I head out is when I start making the rounds. Usually my mom, your mom, Kat, sometimes Kat.
Yeah. She doesn't always make the list.
No, but
it has nothing to do with her.
No, and it doesn't
but she doesn't always make the list.
My thing is the two main, my mom and your mom. Yeah. It'll spread pretty quick.
Well, and
your mom's
sometimes
usually really good about letting your brothers know. And
that is also true. I'll get a random message from my brother or something. How's Piper?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, you must have talked to Dad. Mom must have told Dad told you. It's a whole chain reaction situation. So
same with the cousins. It usually makes it through the grapevine and everybody kind of finds out.
Not the usual, not so much anymore.
Yeah, it hasn't been that crazy in some years.
Yeah, but it used to travel further, but now it's just pretty close family.
Which is more fine. Intermediate, but
we just handle our shit and move on because such is our life. Such is our life. I'm definitely the one that talks to doctors Not that Jesse doesn't.
They don't like me.
Well, and the bottom line is Jesse tends to get overwhelmed faster in a way that effective communication between him and doctors becomes hard.
Well, because I'm very straightforward and they still want to talk in all these fucking MD terms. And I'm like, dude, I didn't go to like, this is what's going on. Don't talk to me like I'm, slow, but don't talk to me like I've got a PhD, dude. Like, I'm not understanding that shit. And then they get, because I come off very rough around the edges.
Well, especially when you're frustrated.
Well, no, when it comes to Piper, I get flustered very quickly.
You do.
When it comes to Piper, I do.
Which makes sense. It's not like, this isn't a situation where you're like, I expect you to be totally calm. That's not how it is. But given somebody who cries and can't talk, I do a better time of communicating with doctors.
Well, and I've noticed too, like a lot of the times they gravitate to asking you anyway. They generally gravitate to directing the questions to you anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just a societal thing.
I think that's what it is because they
assume I'm with her all the time.
You're usually walking in with her, holding her.
Yeah.
Because I'm driving and you're sitting in the back seat with her holding her. So they usually just direct most of the questions to you now anyway.
Yeah. And again, that's a societal
And it's only been a
thing.
few times where I've had some disagreements with some doctors.
I'm not saying that you have. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, it's happened.
I know. Well, it's happened. Yes. Yes.
I've had some security guards and some social workers called.
I think we've talked about this, and which is funny. It's not funny, but it's funny to me as his wife because I live with him and I know him so well. When they get called in and they think that he is like being aggressive or I don't know,
being like threatening or something,
whatever the case may be. And he tells me later because I have no idea what's happening because I'm with Piper and with 5 million doctors at the moment. And I just laugh to myself because I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10 being like outrageously crazy for a scale for Jesse,
like call the SWAT team.
Like on a scale for Jesse, down. Literally, I'm like, I think you were maybe a 3. And it's like a maybe for me. Like, I just feel like it was so normal for you that you might have tipped to a 3. I don't know. It's just so, to me, I laugh on the inside because I'm like.
I feel like that last time when that guy at the ER station was just.
He kind of just, I love nurses. I love anybody who works. He just felt lost, like he didn't know what he was doing.
Yes, it did. It looked like he was not trained for that situation. In my opinion, that's what it looked like. And that's what I told the lady
happens. We got
when
through
they came down. I'm like, you know what? I didn't mean to start getting irate, but my daughter's turning blue because she's not breathing. And this guy's just standing there. The one that,
he just was he just felt unprepared for that. He
didn't seem like he was prepared for it. And
it was a moment.
I did. I started getting loud.
But even that, like I said, maybe a 3. It was nothing. So it was just, for me, it's funny because I know you.
I think what it was too is I have a deeper voice. So then when I start getting irritated,
and you swear and then your arms get all big and. Yeah, it's a whole situation.
I do what gorillas do. I make myself look big.
Yeah, I'm aware. I know exactly.
Our friends down in Australia, they could tell you if I was a kangaroo, I would go and sit in some water and try and convince you to come out into the water so I could drown you.
Mean.
Oh, yeah.
They are so mean.
They will jack you up, boy.
It's like koalas. Koalas are so mean.
God. They look so crazy when they get wet. They look like little demons.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
Let's go back. I always do try to keep cash for food just in case because you just never know.
It does. The food at the hospital is great, actually.
I
the
don't hate it.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
I've had way worse food in my life. It's not.
But it does. If you're up there for 3, 4, 5 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It starts to get expensive.
A typical stay for her is, we do a lot of overnighters due to seizures and stuff. But 3 to 5 is a pretty typical
3 to 5,
stay for her.
A general
average
work week is, seems pretty fair.
So I do try to keep some cash. But, again.
Well, and your mom is so awesome. Like, she brings you lunch and stuff. And
no,
I've brought you stuff up.
Again, I have a great support system. And, of course, everyone wants to feed me. And I think because, one, people don't know what to do because how do you help somebody who's sitting in a hospital?
Exactly.
With their child? There's not much you can do.
Well, your mom goes up and hangs out with you. And
she does.
Which is great because I know, like, it's a lot for you. It is. And she just wants to be there for you and be there for Piper. And
well, that's because Piper's adorable and it's her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, people do tend to want to feed me, which, again, one, because they want to do something and they don't know what else to do. And two, I think part of it comes because I think in the beginning, I don't think I ate. I don't think it was conscious. I think it was more like, I don't want to leave the room.
Well, yeah. And that's why me and you put on so much weight when she was first born, because we weren't eating until like 10 at night and it was shit. Like complete and total shit. Fast food, junk food, soda, like just.
I know. Well, you know, sometimes you're just looking for the comfort stuff, which is terrible for you.
Oh, it is. Because it's like, I don't have it in me to like eat a meal, but I'll sit here and eat this bag of candy.
Yeah. A bag of chips, soda, whatever.
Yeah. Keep you, like it just.
To fake like you're going to keep going.
Just convincing your brain that you're putting sustenance into your body.
Yeah. Which I have gotten better at. I definitely have, I'm way better at it.
When I pack, if I come home and pack her something, I try to pack her food. Like if we've got fruit, I pack her fruit. If we have granola bars, I pack granola bars and stuff like that.
Fruit like oranges, like stuff he can pack. Not like...
Well, yeah, like, you know, apples, oranges.
Yes. I had a thought and I lost it. It went away.
Fleeting thought.
Fleeting, yes.
Damn those thoughts.
Oh, but I do think over the years I've also just been better about, I don't rely on the crap food. Yes. I'm not saying I don't eat crap food, because that's not my personality at all.
Oh, no.
Anyways, in general.
I'm like, if anybody that knows you knows.
But I have gotten better. You know, like I tend to like.
I'm very good at hitting you up, and it's like, did you eat breakfast? Have you eaten yet? Did you have lunch?
So everyone asks, have you eaten today? And again, over the years, I've gotten much better. I do eat. I do feed myself now.
Well, and it's really good too, because with your bag, the Children's Hospital has a Ronald McDonald House.
Yes.
That you can go, like, if
they have a kitchen.
They have a kitchen.
That's food in
they
it.
have a laundromat, like you can wash your clothes. They even have like little rooms that you can like rent for an hour and literally just nap in. Like get out of the hospital room and have your own place to like just lay down, clear your mind, sleep. They have showers.
Yeah, because they're real beds there. None of that like couch crap bed that you sleep on every night.
Oh no, they're still hard.
Yeah, but they're beds.
But it's a bed. It's not like a little cot that you're trying to curl up on. And
which I think is something to point out is when you're not used to hospitals, it's always ask your nurse for any resources that you can.
Yes, 100%.
Is there a place for me to shower? Is there a place for me to wash my clothes? Is there a place to get food other than the cafeteria? Because, like I said, this hospital has all these resources for us. And sometimes people don't tell you those things. You need to ask for them, which sucks.
Be vocal.
I know.
100% be vocal. Because just like you would, you know, be your advocate for your child, you also need to be an advocate for each other. You need to make sure you're taking care of yourself, you know, because
it's important.
It exactly. Your child needs you to be 100% or the best percent you can be, because I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not going to say 100%. Yeah, but
I don't focus at 100% every day anyways. So yeah, no, just
but no, like
my optimal.
You know, when you've been stuck in a hospital room for a day and a half, it's nice to be like, hey, is there somewhere I can go to just shower and maybe feel like a human again?
Which I also think in the beginning was a downfall for me, because I think in the beginning I never left Piper's room.
No, you did not. You would be there for like 14 hours straight, and I'm like,
because I don't know, because Piper, even to this day, as most of you know, she is non-verbal and non-ambulatory. She requires help with everything. So the thought of leaving her, even with somebody who I'm supposed to trust, who is there to take care of her, and to it's hard. It is definitely a learned skill through the years. And again, I still don't leave her. Like I leave in the morning and I usually go down, get a cup of coffee, a bagel, and I come back to the room because I don't want to miss rounds. I want to talk to the doctors. It's very important. I do try to get out and take a walk in the afternoon because everybody needs to move their body just a little bit, especially when you're cramped into a tiny space all day. And I do go down and have dinner sometimes somebody comes up and has dinner with me, and we'll sit in the lunchroom and.
Yeah, sometimes I'll come up and see you on pipes so that I can. Now that they've made it more lax with COVID, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because there for a while I wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
and
nobody
then when I was allowed, it was a 24-hour turnover. So if I came and saw her, it was.
You were there for 24
I
hours
was
until
there.
somebody else could come. Yeah.
Yep. And and it's like, well, I can't do that because I have to go to work. I can't be here.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. So it's just
like I'm not showing up until 5 anyway. I can't be here until 5 the next day. Like that doesn't work for me. I can't. So now being able to come up and see you guys after I get off work and shower and stuff and run up, have dinner, see you guys, spend some time with you. Yeah, we'll go down to the cafeteria. And your mom will go up and see you, which is really nice. And you've had a few friends too. Tony, Gabe.
Gabe has never come up to the hospital. He has sent me
he has
food.
Sent you. Yeah, I'm like, he sent you food though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he sent me food before.
What do you want? I'll send it to you.
I didn't even tell him. He just sent it to me. Food's on the way, so just be looking for it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Cool, thank you.
Like, I'm not going to turn away food.
Yeah.
Because I love
Kat's
it.
Kat's brought you food.
Yeah, she's brought me food. She's
gone and hung out. And
always, because she's
a good friend.
Of course she has. She has been around. I actually do have a specific coffee cup that I just keep in my bag that I can brew my own coffee in my room. So I actually don't even have to leave the room now to brew coffee in the morning.
I remember that. You were very excited.
It is the best thing ever. You just have to ask a nurse for hot water. I just keep like those individual creamers in there. I keep some coffee in there. So if I happen to be stuck in my room, there you go. I have coffee and it's fabulous. It's amazing. I don't know who thought about it. It's so great. I love it so much.
Oh,
Whoever
thought of that like little contraption of like your cup mug, whatever, being
with like the filter and like, it's amazing. And it's one of those things like puts a little smile on my face because I get to enjoy something that I want to enjoy, which is my cup of coffee in the morning. And I don't actually have to leave her to do it all the time.
Well, and every time you use it, you get to think of your friend that got that for you.
It's very true. So it's winning.
That knows our situation, knows you enough, that is like, here's this, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. Like, enjoy this. I know that you can use this.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure I send a picture every time I do use it because it's the most amazing thing ever. And yeah, I think what's helpful is to learn to ask for things you need. Yes. Be that from nurses, be that from hospital staff, be that from your friends and family who are like, let me know if you need something because nobody knows what to offer. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst thing that can happen is they can say no or they can't help you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't ask, it wasn't going to happen anyway. So you might as well just ask and see if somebody will do it or help you or whatever the case may be. I have learned that. At this point in time, when people just offer to do things, I'm like, great, sounds wonderful, love it. I'm not even going to fight you because what is the point? What is the point?
No.
People are like, don't do that. Don't help me. Don't do these. Why? You want to do that? Great. Sounds wonderful. Love it. If you want to do that, you don't have to do that. But if you want to, wonderful. Thank you.
Agreed. Because we are not those type of people to be like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And then when someone's like, hey, can you guys do this? Oh, yeah, no, we're busy. No, it's like...
Well, that's not my personality anyways.
No, exactly,
I'm usually like,
that's not us.
Okay, is there any way I can make this work, even if maybe it's tight? I'm generally the person who will say yes more than no, because if you're asking me, you probably need it.
Yeah, I'm like, and honestly, it's not really going to put us out of anything, I'm sure.
That's why I always tell people, if you need something, just ask me.
If it is within our power, yes, 100%.
I'm here, whatever. I also think it's also important if you're somebody who's sitting in a hospital with a loved one, doesn't matter even who, a loved one, it is okay to not answer your phone. It is okay not to be constantly updating people. It is okay to take the space you need to deal with the things that you need to deal with. Even though you were there, I think people feel like they have to constantly be like updating and be the middleman, and do you know what I mean?
That's why I've just learned over the years, you keep me posted, you let me know what you feel is essentially necessary, You know, like
Yeah. Well, yeah,
shit
me
is
and you
going
definitely. I
like
will.
our communication is pretty
Yeah.
open, but you know, again, that falls under. I usually let people know what's going on because my mom tries not to bother you.
I know so many people try not to bother me.
She's already under so much stress, and you know, I just don't want to bother her. So what's going on with Piper? What's going on?
And 90% of the time, if people call me, I answer.
Yeah.
I mean, unless something is happening.
Although reception and shit up there is spotty. But
it can be, yes.
It can be very spotty.
But no, 90% of the time I answer just because, you know, it's nice to talk to another adult that's not a doctor and not my sick child. Unless something is terribly wrong, which has happened. I have not answered my phone because things are not going well.
Yeah, there's been times I've called you and you don't answer. And then I'll wait a couple minutes and I'll call you back and you don't answer. And then you call me back.
I'm busy.
And I'm like, what's going on? And you're like, well, I was busy. I was with helping the nurses. This is what's going on. And it's like, I knew it. Fuck. Like,
and sometimes it's not serious. Sometimes it's literally just have my hands full doing something. But
I think one of the times you're like, well, Piper decided to poop everywhere. Like,
oh my gosh, yes. You know, just
and you're
like just stuff.
It just happens, and you're like, I could not get to my phone. I was helping the nurse. There was a child with poo everywhere. Like, that's just what was going on. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Shit literally happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
I'd rather it be that than, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, she coded or
yeah,
you know, something.
And it has, you know, unfortunately, my poor sweet mother. This last day was trying to call me, and things were not going well. And I didn't answer. And she was with all her friends, and she thought that they just didn't do it right and called me back, and I didn't answer. And she called me again, and I didn't answer. And they literally thought it was an issue on their side because, you know, sometimes tech is tricky. And just turns out things were not going well. And we were being transferred to the ICU. And I finally called her back. And again, my poor mother,
I'm sure she was just like, I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah, she felt terrible. But
That's
she's
just
all,
your
she
I'm so sorry.
I thought that I was screwing up. But, you know, when I just start bawling on the phone with her, and she's like with all of her friends, and they were like all excited to like see Piper, and that is not the phone call she got. So,
yeah,
you know,
that was a piss all over your parade phone call.
Like, really sorry to do this to you. So, yeah, I don't just have.
But no, just make sure that you guys can be as prepared as you can. You know, unfortunately, it's going to come with the experience, what works best for you.
Yeah. And you just learn. I think it just comes with time. Again, it's been 8 years. So I have found that I do really well. Like, because again, I never leave Piper. I'm pretty much with her all the time when she's in the hospital. I can probably count how many times I've left her. Not counting NICU, because you can't stay with her in the NICU. But like, I always like fold my bed up and put it away during the day. Otherwise, I will never get out of that little bed. That crappy couch bed. I will just lay there and do nothing and be a bump on a log all day. Because it's really easy to do when you're in a small space all day.
No.
You know, so I always try to get up and move my body a little bit, put that away so I'm not tempted to just sleep my days away. I've also found that it's nice to have options that are tech-free because you could spend all day on your phone or watching movies all day.
Yes.
It's very easy. Again, take, what are your options?
A book and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
So I like to read Sudoku, love Sudoku. I like word finds. I don't like crosswords because I'm terrible at them, so I don't do those.
You know what I used to like? You remember those highlights? The book highlights?
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I love those. If I can like search for things.
Yeah, the little search things. Man,
like,
I loved
find
those.
5 pairs of binoculars or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Find the
I would do those, yeah.
Find the scissors. Find the spoon.
Yeah. Do I need to just start grabbing like kids' magazines? I don't want to work my brain too hard, but I do want to like do things.
Well, it's a tech thing. I'm like, I know that they've got apps for it.
They do. Well, that's the thing. They do, but I want to be off my phone because I can, if I stare at a screen too long, TV, computer, phone, I'll give myself a headache. I'll feel like crap. You're not meant to stare at that shit all day, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I also, That's another thing I've learned. I need to take things that I can look at that are not. Jessie did bring Yahtzee up once. And yes, I do play Yahtzee with Piper. Sometimes
She loves it. She loves hearing the dice.
She does. And she, we help her roll the dice and I help her calculate it and stuff. And she kicks my ass. I don't know how that happens. And I do not let kids win. Okay. I'm not one of those people. Like, you're a child, I'll let you win. I'm like, no, we're going to play because you're going to learn. This is how you learn.
Right?
I have done that with my niece with Connect 4. The first time we played, I kicked her ass every time, and she thought it was super unfair. And I'm like, well, this is how you learn. I will talk you through it. I will tell you need to watch what's happening. Guess what? She came back 3 months later, and she whooped my butt. And I was shocked. And I'm like, damn it, now I have to actually try. It was the best day ever for her. Maybe not for me.
So, yeah. Make sure you guys are trying to do what you can to stay prepared for whatever, you guys need to for your circumstances. I think that's pretty much all we wanted to cover on this go around, was just kind of.
Yeah. I think you can talk about, there's obviously stuff you can talk about, but all sorts of crap. But I think it just comes down to asking for what you need, whether that be from hospital staff.
100% make sure that you're
or people in your
taking
life.
Advantage of all your resources. If you're
especially if somebody's offering,
yeah.
like, hey, I would love to help. Tell me what you need. They're just saying that because they don't know what to offer you. Ask.
Hey,
it's not going to hurt to ask.
I would really, really like a Gatorade, or just something to drink other than water. A lot of our nurses fluidly will just ask, hey, is there anything I can get you guys?
Mm-hmm. The worst thing that can happen is they'll say no.
Yeah.
And then what? Nothing. If you didn't ask, you wouldn't have got it anyway. So if they say no, but at least you asked.
Nope. And don't be afraid to lean on your friends and family. If they are offering, 9 times out of 10, they generally mean it and they want to help you.
Yeah.
Again, they just don't know how.
Agreed.
So if you give them direction, I'm sure if you just give a little direction, your village will help out more than you probably would expect.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So, yeah, that's all we had to cover for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back and listening to us ramble on.
Hey, sounds great. Well, talk to you guys next week.
Yep. Love you.
Bye.
You